Good evening again and happy Soul Search Sunday. I'm just going to take 5 minutes to share what's been percolating in my brain this week. So, Mark Twain has this quote which says that the two most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why. I don't know what you think about that, but I've been dwelling on purpose. I'm always dwelling on why, and I'm always asking people, what's your big why? Why were you put on this planet? I don't know if you know, but have you ever heard of something called gold medal depression? So I've been reading a little bit about that, or I think it's a post-performance depression. They're linked, they're similar. And it's a common thing that happens with athletes, like the likes of Mark Phelps, all of the big names. And it's around them achieving like the pinnacle of their physical ability, winning the World Cup, running the fastest time, getting the most gold medals, and then the week after that event, or the day after, or the evening of, they have this big crash. And I've been, again, wondering why. There's lots of theories out there, and do read up on it. It's a really common and interesting thing. And I don't want to minimise this in any way, because, it's real. So I'm talking about gold medal depression here, hiya. But I think that it's something to do with, as human beings, we're made for something big that could look quite small, but we're made for something big. And I think that having won that gold medal, having pushed themselves really far, having achieved a great and phenomenal achievement, they're still left asking, well, what was the point of all of that? And what now? And I think there's something about us as human beings that is always searching for that. So just to make it a bit more personal, I think that I've been avoiding mine for a few years. In fact, probably ignoring mine for around 6 years. And I've been percolating this week, like, why? What is that all about? So for those of you that know my journey, I was heavily involved in campaigning against human trafficking. It upended my life. I made some massive pre-midlife choices to pursue that. And I don't regret a day of that. I don't regret a day of it. And as overwhelming as it was, I was in a groove. I had peace around me because I knew that I was doing what I was made to do. And so the question I've been asking is that knowing the peace, despite all of the messy, ugly circumstances, knowing the peace that I was under, why am I still not doing that now? I think some of the answers I've come up with is a bit of fear. Like, if I get into it, is my life going to be upended again? Am I going to have to leave a house, a church that I like, a community that I love? Overwhelm. It was hard, overwhelming work, and quite lonely at times. I definitely had compassion fatigue. So for the last 6 years, I've not been able to hear a thing about human trafficking. If it's mentioned while I'm there, I just gently slip out of the conversation. If it comes on the news or the telly, or I literally just switch it off, or like been known to just be covering my eyes or covering my ears. So there's definitely been a degree of compassion fatigue. But also, I've not had that total peace that I had back then. So I'm thinking about that and I'm percolating on that. If you've known me even longer than the last 15 years, so if you've known me since I was a teenager, one of my big life mantras is that I'm going to foster teenage kids and live by the sea. But it's always been about trying to help young people, teenagers in particular, in care. And again, I've dipped in and out of that in various guises. But I'm having a little aha moment at the moment, and I'm working it through. My brain is percolating. So you're not going to hear the last of this on Soul Search Sunday. But I'm beginning to think, oh my goodness, do those two big things in my life, do they actually come together? Is there something about children in care who have been trafficked? Because as I know, it's a massive problem. It's a big statistic. And so I'm thinking that over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to start delving deeper into that and at least just reading up around that and understanding, is there a problem? And if so, what's the scope? So that's me. And I have to say, as debilitating as that feels at times, I'm beginning to find a little bit of freedom release in my brain as if to say, oh, okay, I'm going to look at that again. So that's me at the moment, and it's just a very interesting place that I'm going to be. Oh, yeah. Oprah Winfrey says, I love Oprah, I'm a big Oprah fan, that there is no greater gift to yourself than to honour your calling. It's why you were born, and it's how you become most truly alive. And again, what do you think about that? Is that true? Like, what's your calling? What's your purpose? Are you honouring that right now? Are you not? So I just want to leave you with 3 questions, and I might try and answer them for myself as I go through. Let's see what happens. But what were you put on this planet to do? So mine, I know, is something to do with teenagers in care and human trafficking, and I'm working that through. But what were you put on this planet to do? Do you know? And if you don't know, then question 2 might help you. What are you passionate about? Like, what gives you joy, or what gives you peace? So trafficking does not give me joy. Kids in care does not give me joy. But when I start to look into it, and when I start to ask the big question, what's my place in making this better, I get a sense of peace. So what are you passionate about? And what gives you joy or peace? And the third question is this: what slows you down or stops you from getting involved in this big thing? So for me, I already said it's fear, it was overwhelm, it was compassion fatigue. It could be a lack of resources, it could be the responsibilities that you've got going on, and just, the inability to be able to stop one thing and do another. So what stops you or slows you down? What do you maybe need to put down and take that leap of bravery or courage in order to fulfill your big why? Or what do you need to pick up? What knowledge or resources or team or whatever do you need to pick up, gather around you to enable you to do that? I think this question of purpose is profound and it's deep. But I think as human beings, when we get into that lane, when we really truly start doing what we were made to do, what we're good at, I think the joy, the anxiety, possibly even levels of depression can lift from us, because we have that sense of purpose, of honouring ourselves or our lives, as Oprah said. So dig into it, guys. Have a think. I'm a Christian, you know that. I often think that if we in the church really, really started doing what we were put on this planet to do, I think by the end of week 1, the second coming would have happened. Just a little thought to leave you with there. Anyway, that's me. I'm off out now to enjoy the rest of my Sunday evening. I hope Sunday Soul Search has served you well. Have a great week and see you next Sunday. Bye all.